All right, so let's kind of look a little closer at some of these regular polygons. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is find the measure of the central angles. And remember, a central angle is when you have a circle. Here's the center. A central angle is just an angle that's the vertex is the center of the circle. Okay, so remember, each one of these can be inscribed in a circle. And I'm not going to draw all of them, but they can be inscribed in a circle. Okay, so if we draw the center of that circle, okay, somewhere like that, if I drew from the center to each vertex, okay, this would be a central angle. If I drew from the center to this vertex, this would be a central angle, and then also this would be a central angle, okay? So I want to find the measure of one of these angles. Well, good thing is they're all the same. Okay, so think, if I went all the way around this circle, that's 360 degrees, okay? And I have 3 equal central angles. So if I divide this by 3, that would give me 120. That means each one of these central angles is 120 degrees. Okay, so same thing over here. I have a pentagon, 3, 4, 5, and so therefore I have 1 central angle, 2, 3, 4, 5 central angles. All the way around is 360. So if I do 360 over 5, that gives me 72. Each one of these angles is 72 degrees. Okay, a decagon, guys, if you don't know your shapes, you need to learn them. A decagon has 10 sides. So to find the central angle of a decagon, all I'm going to do, 360 divided equally among 10 central angles, that's 36 degrees. Okay, go ahead and do the octagon on your own. All right, so an octagon has 8 sides, so you're going to take 360 divided equally among 8 central angles, and every central angle is 45 degrees. All right, guys. Now let's go a step further into how we find the area of a regular polygon. Okay, this only works for regular polygons. Remember, regular polygons have all congruent sides and all congruent angles. So the regular polygon, the area is A equals 1/2 A times P. Okay, you're thinking, what the heck is that? So area equals 1/2 times, this little a is the apothem, and this big P is the perimeter. Okay, so 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Okay, this is another area formula. It's basically the same thing. This is 1/2. The A stands for apothem. The N stands for number of sides, and the S stands for side length. So basically, when you multiply these two, the number of sides times one side, this is just the perimeter. So they're the same thing, just written different ways. I will always refer to this way, 1/2 times apothem times perimeter. All right, so let's look at example 1 here. Okay, here I'm giving a 4-sided shape, so it's a square. And my apothem, remember apothem is the center, the perpendicular bisector of the side. My apothem is 4. That's what's given to me. Okay. Now, what I need to find is my central angle, my perimeter, and my area. Okay, so 4-sided polygon. This would be a central angle. This would be another central angle. This would be another central angle, and then this would be a central angle. So there's 4 central angles in a 4-sided shape. So just like we did before, all the way around is 360. So just take 360 divided by 4. Every central angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so this right here is 90 degrees. Okay, so I have this. This is 90. Okay, what I want to do now, I have the apothem, I need the perimeter. So the piece of this that I need is right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw this out a little more. Okay, so I'm going to draw that triangle. Now this whole thing is 90, so when I draw this apothem, it cuts it into two congruent parts. So 90 over 2 is 45. That's a 90-degree angle. This is 4. Okay, well 45, 90, this has to be 45. Okay, I have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which means it's isosceles, which means opposite of the congruent angles or congruent sides, this is 4. Okay, so this piece right here is 4. And because we know that this bisects it, this piece has to be 4 as well. Okay, so the whole side length then is 8, which means that this whole side length is 8, this side is 8, and this side is 8. Okay, so the perimeter is just 8 times 4, which is 32. Okay, now that I have my apothem and my perimeter, I know my area equals 1/2 apothem times perimeter. So 1/2 times 4 times 32, and that gives me 64 units squared. All right, so let's look at example 2. Okay, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a pentagon, and we know that each side is 20. Okay, so that means my perimeter can be found by taking 20 times 5 sides, which gives me 100. So my perimeter is 100. All right, remember, in order to find the central angle, which would be this right here, we're going to take 360 divided by the number of sides, which is 5. And when you do 360 divided by 5, you get 72 degrees. So this here, 72 degrees. All right, now I need my apothem. Okay, so I'm going to draw it here. When I draw it, this is a 90-degree angle, and it cuts this piece in half, and it cuts this angle in half. Okay, so I'm going to draw my right triangle down below. We're good at right triangles by now. Okay, so my 20, half of that is now my 10. This is my apothem that goes straight up and down right here. My 72 has been divided into 2, and 72 divided by 2 is 36 degrees. Okay, well from here, guys, you could use trig. Okay, here's my reference angle, so this would be my opposite, my hypotenuse, and my adjacent. So, toa. Okay, I have my opposite, I want my adjacent. So I want my O and A together, that's tangent. Okay, so I can say tangent of 36 degrees equals opposite over adjacent. Well, opposite is 10, and adjacent is just my little a, which is my apothem. Anytime I have a fraction, I'm going to multiply by the denominator on both sides. A times tan 36 degrees equals 10. Divide by tangent 36. Divided by tangent 36. Those go away, so I get A equals 10 over tan 36. And when I plug that into my calculator, I get A as roughly 13.76. So that's my apothem. Okay, so area equals 1/2 times apothem, which is 13.76, times the perimeter. And when I put that into my calculator, I get that my area of this has to be 688. All right, I want you to go ahead and find the central angle of this one on your own. All right, so 360 divided by 6 sides gives you a central angle of 60 degrees. So this central angle is 60 degrees. So when we draw this apothem, that's not a very good drawing. When we draw this apothem here, this 60 is now 30 and 30, and this is the same as this. So I'm going to draw this triangle out right here. So 30, this is 4, this is my apothem. Okay, so I can use properties of 30, 60, 90 triangles, so go back to those. This is my hypotenuse. The short leg equals hypotenuse divided by 2. This is my short leg, so it would be 4 divided by 2, which gives me 2. Okay, then after I have my short leg, my long leg equals my short leg times square root of 3. Well, guys, my short leg is 2 times square root of 3. This is just 2 square root of 3. Okay, so my apothem is 2 square root of 3. All right, so just this piece is 2. So this piece is 2, which means this piece is 2, which means this whole side is 4, which means this whole side is 4. This whole side is 4. So my perimeter, I have 6 sides. Each of them are 4, so 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, area equals 1/2 times my apothem, which is 2 square root of 3, times my perimeter. So this is just 24 square root of 3. Or if you want to get a decimal, 24 square root of 3 is roughly 41.57. I'm going to keep it exact, 41 square root of 3. All right, I want you to go through and try to do this one on your own. You have to find the central angle first. Guys, your apothem is given. Okay, so use that to find the side length, right? Form a triangle, find the side length, get the perimeter. After you have the apothem and perimeter, you can find the area. All right, so first you find your central angle. I always label each vertex. I just go around in order so I don't skip one and I don't double count one. And you get that this is an octagon. It has 8 sides. So 360 divided by 8 gives you 45. My central angle is 45 degrees. Okay, now when I draw my apothem divides that angle into 2 congruent pieces. So each one is 22.5 degrees. Okay, so I've taken this triangle here and I've drawn it below. I know my apothem's 4.5. And then I want to know this side length because this is half of the side. Okay, so I'm going to use tangent. Tangent 22.5 equals x over 4.5. I get 1.864. So when I talk about 1.864, I'm talking about this piece right here is 1.864. So if this piece is 1.864, this piece has to be 1.864 as well. So 1.864 times 2, I got 3.728 is the length of one side. Okay, now depending on how you rounded, you could have gotten something a tiny bit different. Okay, so to find the perimeter, I'm going to take that same number times 8 sides, and you get 29.824. Okay, now that I have my perimeter and my apothem, I can find the area of this, 1/2 times 4.5 times 29.824, and I got roughly 67.1.